This is grade 5, module 3, lesson 15, and in this lesson the objective is to solve multi-step word problems, assess reasonableness of solutions using benchmark numbers. So we're going to start out with question number 2 from the homework, and this reads, a boxer needs to lose 3.5 kilograms in a month to be able to compete as a flyweight. In 3 weeks, he lowers his weight from 55.5 kilograms to 53.8 kilograms. How many kilograms must a boxer lose in the final week to be able to compete as a flyweight? So there's a few things going on here. We have some decimals and we also have fractions. So let's go ahead and get started with our target sentence first. And the target sentence reads, the boxer must lose blank kilograms in the final week. So in the 3 weeks, he lowers his weight. He starts out at 55 and 5/10 kilogram, and he drops to 53.8 kilograms. So let's find out how much he lost in those 3 weeks. And this just becomes a subtraction problem with decimals, which we've done in the past. So we know that he lost 1 7/10 of a kilogram in the 3 weeks. So he has to lose more weight because he's trying to get a total of 3.5 kilograms lost in a month. And we're going with the 4 weeks in a month. So in his 3 weeks, he lost 1 7/10. And so we need to find the difference between 3.5 and 1 7/10. So I'm finding the difference. Now, 1 7/10, this is the decimal. The fraction form would be 1 7/10. So I'm going to write it that way here. We're going to find the common denominator. So this becomes 3 5/10 minus 1 7/10. This is going to be 2 15/10 minus 1 7/10. And that's going to give you an answer of 1 8/10, which can also be written as a decimal as 1 8/10. Now, if your child or the student kept the fraction 1 8/10, this can be simplified as 1 4/5. So either answer is acceptable, 1 4/5 as a fraction or 1 8/10 written as a decimal. So I'm going to leave mine as a decimal, and my answer reads, the boxer must lose 1 8/10 kilograms in the final week. Our next problem is problem number 5 from the homework, and that reads, Mark breaks up a 9-hour drive into 3 segments. He drives 2.5 hours before stopping for lunch. After driving some more, he stops for gas. If the second segment of his drive was 1 2/3 hours longer than the first segment, how long did he drive after stopping for gas? So let's start with our target sentence. And the target sentence reads, Mark drove blank hours after stopping for gas. So the total drive is 9 hours, and we know that it's broken up into 3 segments. So the first segment, I'm going to draw a tape for that, is 2.5 hours. That's what he did in the first segment. In the second segment, the information they gave us is that it was 1 2/3 hours longer than the first. So this one, I'm going to make the same length as the first one, and then I'm adding 1 2/3 because it's 1 2/3 longer than the first one. So let's figure out how long his second segment was. Remember, the first segment was 2.5, and the second segment was 1 2/3 longer. So we're going to add 2 1/2 plus 1 2/3. And so I have equivalent fractions, so 2 3/6. The common denominator now is 6, plus 1 4/6 is equal to 3 7/6. And that was improper, so I made a proper fraction, a mixed number of 4 1/6. So that's how much he drove in the second segment. So I'm actually going to label that as such for the second segment. Is 4 1/6. So now I know that the first segment plus the second segment plus the third segment is going to be equal to 9 hours. So the third segment is going to be the 9 hours minus 2 1/2. Let me erase this for room. Plus 4 1/6. So I need to add the first two segments together to see what I'm going to subtract from 9. So I have a common denominator, 6, and when I combine 2 and 3, 6 plus 4 and 1/6, I have 6 and 4/6. 9 minus 6 and 4/6, I've changed 9 to equal 8 and 6 over 6, minus 6 and 4/6 to get an answer of 2 and 2/6. And when I simplify that, I have an answer of 2 and 1/3. So Mark drove 2 and 1/3 hours after stopping for gas, and that's what I'm putting into my target sentence.